Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 193.
Ow!
I'm Chris, and joining me today are...
Ames.
Caitlin.
Jake?
Jay, I'm here. Hi.
Oh my god, James is here!
It's Rossi!
Yay.
James.
James is here.
Oh my god, it's good to see you, Rossi.
It's good to see you too.
I assumed you were dead. I won't lie, I assumed you were dead.
I mean, you could have contacted me, maybe.
I tried.
I
You
could tell
don't
you probably
respond.
did.
I
Yeah, you
could tell
probably did.
that Ames assumed that, which is why I messaged you to be like, "Hey, buddy, you're not dead, are you?"
I appreciated that. Thank you.
I assumed like a post office truck finally just drove straight into a house or something. And
I mean, well, it's part of the job.
I tried sending a raven, but I realized it wasn't actually trained, so fuck knows where that went.
Oh no, your poor Raven's probably dead.
that's what's been pooping on my house.
Oh, there we go! It's not technically my raven, so, you know. Anyway, today on A Star to Steer Her By, we will be wrapping up Season 4 with the episodes Body Parts and Broken Link. First up in Body Parts, Quark is uncharacteristically cheerful and giving his brother free drinks at the bar. Why? Because it turns out he has Dorek syndrome and he has about a week to live.
Whoops.
Bummer. He gets a wicked case of the regrets and is like, my life has been a joke. I'm worth nothing and I have these debts I've got to pay off and wow, there's a lot of them. And Rom is like, well, brother, sell your desiccated bits on the futures exchange. And Quark's like, who's gonna care about me? I'm inextricably linked to, like, the Federation and shit. But he does it anyway, because Rom, like, kind of forces him. And, oh, look, he gets a bid! A bid that just so happens to be exactly equal to Rom's life savings. And Quark is like, meh. But then, holy crap, he gets an enormous bid. I think it was 500 bars of gold-pressed latinum.
1 million slips.
Yeah. And he's just like, yep, nope, take. He's like, hooray! I'll pay off my debts and have
and then die.
extra
That's
money
sad.
to bribe the Great Exchequer or whatever.
I think it was the registrar, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. But then Julian shows up. He's like, Quark, I say, I just got a message from Dr. Oprax. He says you don't actually have Dorek syndrome. Terribly sorry. And he wanders off. And Quark is all like, I get to sue Oprax for malpractice. And I'm gonna live.
For Opraxis.
That's what I was thinking, too.
And then
I'm
everyone's
glad we went there, Caitlin.
favorite fuckface, Brunt FCA, shows up.
Nice.
And he's all like, guess who bought your corpse, bitch? Because Quark had been thinking maybe it was the Nagus, but no, it was Brunt. And Quark is all like, well, I'm not dying. And Brunt is all, your contract didn't have a subclause for if that happens.
Didn't have a Santa Claus.
you owe me 52 discs of desiccated Quark. And Quark's like, just come on, dude. And he's like, no, I want to ruin you because I hate your family because you're all weirdos. And Quark's like, fuck.
That tracks.
And he, like, hires Garak to be like, Garak, quick, I need you to kill someone. And Rom's like, yes, kill Brunt. And Quark is like, no, you fool, I need him to kill me. And Rom's like, wait, what? What?
Bad plan.
Rom's like, I could do that, brother.
So, long story short, eventually Quark has a dream where he is visited by Gint, the first Grand Nagus, who's all like, Quark, this obviously isn't a vision, but this is clearly your subconscious being like, I don't want to die, and fuck it. And so Quark is like, fine. And he is like, you know what, fine. He breaks the contract. Brunt is all, oh, I'm confiscating all your things, and no Ferengi can work here, or do commerce here. And it's just like, well, yeah, but like 95% of his commerce is non-Ferengi, so oh no.
His employees contain a lot of Ferengi.
Yeah, he's about half, so that's going to be a bit tricky. And then in a very It's a Wonderful Life moment, everyone shows up being like, oh, hey Quark, I happen to have this booze I don't want. Hey Quark, we need to store all this furniture somewhere. You know, it's a cute little moment, and Quark says he's got to charge them a storage fee, and so on. In the B plot...
Was there a B plot?
There's an accident. And
Oh, yeah.
Bashir
Miles tries to get Keiko killed and fails.
In the B plot, so Keiko's coming back from a trip with Kira and Bashir, and there's an accident, and the baby's gonna die, and Julian is like, I can either implant the baby into Major Kira or my bottom, and I don't like that second option. So Kira is now carrying the O'Brien baby, and it's like something Bajoran biology, no, we can't just put it back into Keiko. And then they all decide they're gonna have weird three-ways together.
Was transporter buffer not an option?
They never brought up transporters.
Okay.
I mean, O'Brien wasn't on the shuttle, so presumably nobody
skilled
enough to figure out how to do that. Was
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a weird little sci-fi excuse because Nana Visitor was pregnant.
Yep. That's the only reason it happened.
I was gonna ask that if that was what was up.
Yeah, basically, like, the baby transplant was concocted to work around her pregnancy because, oh no, we have Keiko pregnant already. We just said Luoxana was pregnant. If we have Kira and Shakar, presumably, having another baby, it would be annoying, and, you know, it's not really in the characters that we want to explore, but we also don't want to hide it, because hiding it sucks.
Yeah, they do a really bad job of hiding a pregnancy in Voyager.
Ugh. They did a good job in TNG. I didn't even realize that Gates was pregnant at one point.
Yeah. I remember you had to tell us.
Yeah. So they made up a whole bunch of science because the science wasn't quite there at the time for even discussions in the science community of, you know, is a fetal transplant possible? The answer is, Jesus God, why did you bring this up to me? I don't want to think about this. So they made up the whole, like, oh, if you do the fetal placental complex and beam all that into Kira, and then...
I mean, that's the thing. It's like...
shenanigans ensue. And...
It's the 24th century. I'll assume it's possible by then.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem all that far-fetched.
Except that it's interspecies. That's the part that's
a little not quite right. But I mean, again, we know that there's interspecies children, right? Like there's
There's Zial. Zial's running around.
Zial. So obviously
it seems like there's almost no limit to the interbreeding that can occur.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'd think that
Bajorans
Worf's
ex-wife.
Yeah, you'd think Bajorans then wouldn't be viable with other species because they have such a different way that they get pregnant.
Yeah.
Different nose. Thank you, Jake. No, because they said, like, oh, in Bajorans, it's only 5 months pregnancy or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think when someone's trying to say that, like, a Bajor, like on Bajor, when someone's saying, like, someoe's really sexy, they're like, oh, man, he's got washboard ridge.
Wow.
You know,
I hope so.
Like, washboard abs. Sexy.
But
like
Bajoran
my abs.
theoretically could have
Glad
both,
this isn't
right?
a video podcast.
Yeah. No, I wasn't expecting to like this episode. I did not like this episode.
Shocking.
I know, but the thing is, like, I call this episode Missed Opportunity, the episode. Because we start off and we've already done the actually tense, interesting thing in moving a baby from Keiko to Kira. We start off and that's already happened. So the tension is only, oh no, Keiko and Miles don't have a belly to rub every day. They can't just rub Miles' belly.
That's what Miles does.
Yeah, well. And it's not an interesting story saying it's already happened. We know it's going to work. We know Keiko's going to heal. It's just, you know, it's a character thing, but I didn't find it at all interesting. I would have rather have seen the decision be made. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is they could have made it a little more interesting, but they didn't pursue it enough. Because it is, like, when you think about it, it is a weird sort of question. Because, like, we were talking about me and Caitlin last night, and she was like, what? I mean, people have surrogates all the time. I'm like, well, yes, but it's a little different to be, like, from the word go, someone else is carrying your child, from, like, oh, partway through, this just happened, and you really didn't have any say over it. Like, that could have been explored a more interesting way, but I think because it was the plot being dictated by reality, they just didn't really dedicate as much energy to it as they could have.
That might be it. You know what fucking drove me nuts was there was what could have been a fucking great scene between Keiko and Major Kira. They had a brief scene where Keiko's in bed, you know, saying, like, I'm doing, you know, I'm healing up, it's weird. And that was it. They only said, oh, thanks for taking the baby. End of scene. It lasted all of 25 seconds. And I was like, this could have been a great scene between two women who almost never talk in the show.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
And they suddenly got this link.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess we're friends now. Guess I'm moving in with you. Which, like, that also is something that could have been explored a bit more. Like, because Kira feels like someone who is, despite having had relationships, you still feel like probably is a relatively solitary person.
Yeah.
And, like, it would be interesting, like, to have maybe had the move-in be earlier and explore that a little more. This person who, like, had an upbringing that is unimaginable suddenly being part of this kind of family unit.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something the show will explore going forward. Or maybe they'll completely forget about it. I don't remember.
I think that's the real missed opportunity of this episode is that there's almost no drama in that whole plot other than Keiko is sad. Like, that's the drama.
And they didn't give it its due. Like, the thing is, this should have been an A plot, or maybe it's just own episode fully, you know? Making it a B plot to this sort of Ferengi Merchant of Venice thing is a little weird.
Yeah. But I think there would be incredible conflict. Like, that's the episode I'd like to see is the one that Chris wants, is Major Kira moves in with the O'Briens, and there's an odd couple situation going on. You know, she can't stand... Like, maybe she's thinking of, like, maybe it opens with, like, her thinking, like, maybe me and Shakar should, now that I'm pregnant, makes me think about my hormones and Shakar, and maybe we should settle down. And then she moves in with the O'Briens and has to deal with Molly all the time and is like, God, fuck, no, I don't want fucking kids, God, shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, she doesn't even necessarily have to dislike it, but it would just be something that I think would be so alien to her,
Yeah.
This idea, because again, she was orphaned fairly early on, right? Or am I making that up? Am I confusing her with Ro?
I think they were both orphaned fairly early on.
Yeah, so I mean, she grew up an orphan in camps. She was probably part of the resistance as soon as she could carry a gun.
She probably never thought she'd live long enough to be a parent.
Yeah, and I think even now, like, again, she's had relationships, but it's been with these guys who, like, they see each other on occasion. They're practically fuck buddies more than a proper relationship. And,
Nothing wrong with a long-distance relationship.
No, there isn't, but because of just the nature of the way the characters are cast and the way they show up, like...
And how boring we're finding Shakar now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you don't really feel it in the same way. So, and it's still something that you feel like she's probably keeping at arm's length. So to really get to see Kira in a very domestic situation and how she dealt with that really could have... And again, maybe I don't remember. Maybe the show will pursue this a little more. I feel like they probably aren't gonna, though, to be honest.
I'm just kind of realizing how weird it is that Kira is dating the Bajoran world president.
Yeah.
And how I never really thought about just how weird that is.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's probably got more important things to do literally every moment of his life than pursue a relationship with somebody.
Well, that's why long ago he wanted Odo to be his, like, can you give Kira this note? Do you like me? Check yes or no.
Or maybe.
He was delegating. He wasn't shy. He was just like, I don't have time for this garbage. Just go find out for me.
Write me a report later.
I mean, like, I know she likes me, but, like, does she like me, you guys?
Isn't there a, like, rom-com from the earlier mid-90s where, like, the President of the United States, I don't know if he winds up widowed or what, but he ends up, like, dating this woman and, like, Michael J. Fox is his personal assistant or something who's, like, kind of uptight about it? Am I making that up?
Is it a Michael Douglas film?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does, I think it's part of our cultural bias, because, of course, in the whole history of this country, there's been, I think, maybe one or two bachelor presidents and maybe one widow, or widower. Andrew Jackson, I think, was a widower.
The American President, 1995.
There we go. I don't know about the chief executives of other countries if they are more likely than not to already be married. Like here, it's like practically a prerequisite, which is weird when you think about it. Like,
yeah,
well, who's going to decorate the White House?
Yeah, you look at it like the American people say, we want someone who's stable, who stands for family values, who
I think
who already has this stuff done.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much done with, right?
Accurate. Too accurate.
I mean, because you have to be 35 years
Yep.
old to be president.
Which is an arbitrary as fuck
If
number.
you're not married by 35, you're a failure.
I mean, you're
I thought that was only if you were a woman.
well, yes.
No, it can be
But
for
if you're
all of us.
all
if you're a
buckets I
guy,
fall
it
in.
probably
Great.
means you're gay, and you can't have that.
Yeah, back then, certainly. That.
I can't wait for our first openly, gay and married president.
Well, you should have voted for Buttigieg. Buttigieg?
I didn't
Buttigieg.
like Buttigieg, though.
No, I know. I'm just being a wise ass.
Besides, is he married?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize he was married.
Yeah.
Damn it, I like him more now. Maybe I should have voted for Buttigieg.
Nah, he wasn't a good option.
No, he
Everyone liked
wasn't.
his husband more. Anyway.
Anyway, I'm going to move us on. Because
actual plot?
There are more missed opportunities, TM,
Yeah.
So many.
in
The
this
A
fucking
plot
episode.
is where I felt the most missed opportunities lie.
I feel like Quark was not in character the entire episode long. I felt like, oh yeah, I'll just let Garak assassinate me to fulfill this contract is not Ferengi scheming. If anything, Quark, it should be a whole scheme, a whole plot dedicated to how Quark is going to fake his own death.
That's what I
That's
said.
what I want.
Yeah.
I
That's
said
what
the
it
same
should have been
thing.
about. Thank you.
Like,
That would have been
and-
so fun.
And I felt like they set it up because he very openly in front of Rom is like, I want you to hire me. I want to hire you to kill me. And then they go talk alone. And so I figured he was going to figure out a way with Garak to fake his death. And Rom wouldn't even know that it was fake because
Yeah.
Rom would fucking he definitely would be the type of guy to fuck up the surprise party. So if it was if it was something this serious, he'd have blown it. And I don't know how they would have done it, but that's
I don't
kind of
either.
what
I don't
I was
care.
thinking / hoping. Whatever, they've accidentally have shit come out of the holodeck before. Maybe they could intentionally have something come out of the holosuites.
I guess the problem, though, is once he's faked his death, you feel like Brunt would figure it out within a year.
That's fine. You can still have Brunt figure it out. Have Brunt just wander into Deep Space Nine and spot him across the promenade and be like, wait a minute, Quark, we've already fulfilled this contract.
Well,
you.
I think
I'm
you
a
could
clone,
still have.
Quark.
I think you could still have that whole thing. I would the way I would see this playing out is, maybe Quark originally goes to Garak and is they have that scene where they're going through the different ways that Garak could kill him, and I thought that scene was delightful. But at the end, instead of deciding, okay, surprise me, the solution is, maybe there's another way.
Yeah.
And then we get the fake death plot, and we get this great, fake emotional funeral scene in the bar, and everyone's weepy or at least playing weepy.
Rom is weepy.
Yeah, Rom definitely does.
Everybody else knows that it's bullshit and is just playing along, and it's really just to convince Brunt. And then, right when they're about to get away with it, somehow Quark's avarice or something steps in and he fucks it up.
From the roof board, from the
Like Tom Sawyer.
yeah.
Maybe Rom, because he inherits the bar, starts doing lowering prices or just doing something that Quark absolutely disagrees with.
He reforms the union.
He tries to appear to Rom as a ghost to tell him that he can't lower prices.
That'd be fine. I
And
would
then-
love that.
That would
And
be
then
so good.
he trips over his sheet or something
I was
and
about to say, I'm just
exposes
picturing the weird shape the sheet would make over his head.
Mickey Mouse?
Actually, yeah, I like this episode better. Fuck it.
See? That's why
Yeah, I
I watched
like
this
that.
episode and it's I can't tell if it's a comedy or not, because normally it's trying to hit the beats of a comedy, but the punchline is Quark is going to die, and you're like, what? This is the wrong tone. You're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
We have to know that Quark will be okay, and right now you're doing it in a weird way, and I don't care for it.
My only concern is I presume at the end of the day Moogie will be fine because she had so much money hidden that no one knew about anyway. But I do wish they had addressed that. Because, obviously, Rom doesn't give a fuck about being disenfranchised from Ferenginar.
Well, he
Nog
already is,
doesn't.
right? I mean...
More or less. So, but, the only concern really is their mother, who is still actually back on the home
I
world.
did wonder about what would happen to Moogie.
But then I was like, she's got all her secret money. She'll move away.
Yeah, I
and-
mean, the thing is, all of her money is secret, so there's nothing for them to confiscate from
Yeah.
her, really.
But she's probably gonna get kicked out of her house.
they should buy
Can
a new
afford
one.
a new one.
Yeah.
But like,
She'll go,
I just
she'll
mean
go
like,
full Pell and start wearing bigger lobes.
I just mean like, I feel like they're gonna take the house and everything in it. I mean, he literally took the shirt off Quark's back.
Yeah.
So
Which is
like,
kinda
I
funny.
feel like, actually, maybe he would leave her with her clothes because, you know,
That's
they find it
a shameful
wasteful.
thing.
But
We-
like, yeah, I just.
I forgot about Pell and the fake ears. Jake's when you said just starts wearing bigger. It was like pants. Like I just picture
Yep.
her like getting really obsessed
Hammer
with like,
pants.
Like yeah, like she's not just gonna wear clothes. She's gonna wear like oversized. Like she's gonna wear like giant hammer pants and those huge shoulder suits from that music video.
I was thinking of like she's gonna go to Ferengi Hot Topic and get like 6 foot
Jinkos.
wide jeans. Yeah,
Ooh.
Nice.
Or she goes to the Romulan homeworld. They got big coats.
and big square shoulders.
Yeah, man.
I also would have been okay with them plotting to kill Brunt because I fucking am so sick of Brunt.
Yeah. Well,
FCA.
I also, so that was my big problem with the episode. In addition to, I agree with the comments about missed opportunities, but my problem is I just don't quite buy the premise that Brunt, like, yeah, we've seen Brunt a couple of times and clearly he has, an adversarial relationship with Quark, but it's not like I just don't see this fucking bureaucrat putting his personal
Well,
Maybe it's
funds
embezzled.
Yeah.
up to do. I mean, like obviously
Well, right,
he probably
and this-
didn't expect Quark to actually die, and for all we know, he set up the thing with the fake diagnosis.
That was
I was
my-
kind of waiting
that was
for that
my
to
guess.
be a thing.
interesting.
Uh,
could
I mean,
be.
he already knew it was a fake diagnosis, so
Yeah, or else he wouldn't have shown up.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Interesting point.
I was waiting for
Yeah.
that to be revealed.
But yeah,
It's
it
also-
did seem kind of out of nowhere to go from like I kind of don't like you at a level 4 to 11. I want
you to die.
Either
Yeah, I've-
die or be exiled.
I feel like Brunt makes sense as in he's a bureaucrat who just keeps crossing paths with Quark and his family, as opposed to someone like actively seeking them out. Like, it's like all he has to do is wait if he wants to find something to like catch him on.
There's
it's like-
always something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
So he doesn't
I
have to
was-
manufacture these things. And he doesn't
Yeah,
have to
like-
try to get Quark to like kill himself.
I was also sort of waiting for like some sort of explanation that maybe while he downplayed the last two events, like he was actually getting reamed at work over it, and that's why it had become personal. But
yeah,
that
like
wasn't
it brought
the case.
shame to him somehow.
Yeah, like that's what was kind of is like like that. The last couple of things, like you've run into this family twice now. They both should have been slam dunks, and you fucked up. Like, what the hell? And if that was the case, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get revenge on you because you are, I've worked in this company for God knows how many years. Everything's been perfect. I'm one of the best. And then you assholes come along.
But yeah, no, but of course his stated reasoning is just, you're a philanthropist. You're too nice to people.
Yeah.
You only take like, what was it? Like you only mark your drinks up 30% or something like that.
Take
Like,
credit at the bar.
Yeah.
yeah, you sold
Fizzy lifting drinks. No.
yeah, you sold food to the Bajorans at cost during the
It's like
occupation.
just over cost.
Right. And like all these things, it's just un-Ferengi like behavior as
Yeah.
opposed to
Humanistic.
I actually just think. Yeah, I did like that. Yeah, humanitarian, but it's humanitarian.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I just have to say I had never noticed how fucking gross Brunt's stupid teeth were. And it was all I could look at this whole episode.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Like,
Are they worse than
Quark-
Rom's?
Quark, okay, so like but here's the thing, like, I would assume, so like people generally, right, have 32 teeth, isn't it?
Something like that.
It's, and then you have your, most people have their wisdom teeth out, you have 28 teeth. Brunt appears to have 3 teeth of a totally different shape and size on his front than like Rom or Quark. Like Rom has that one weird tooth, but he still has like at least 6 or 7 top and bottom. Quark has
Yeah, they
7
both have,
or 8.
They both have
teeth.
full mouths of teeth. He has
Brunt
like,
has like 3 nasty,
widely
sharp,
spaced.
horrifying teeth, and
Yeah.
I hate them. And I never noticed them before even, but I was so distracted by them this episode. I don't know if they changed them or if I just had to look at him talking more than usual.
There
I
were
found
a
him
number of close-ups of his face.
very,
So-
very off-putting.
Which also what a fucking chameleon Jeffrey Combs is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like
Jeffrey Combs
we
is
just
amazing.
had, we just met Wei Yun, same actor, but if you put these two next to each other in the
No,
same scene,
I'd
I
never
don't think
know.
you would know it's the same guy.
No,
No.
not a chance.
Even staring into the eyes, which is the only part of Brunt that isn't makeup, I
Yeah.
would never tell.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, well,
the
they're such-
performances are so different
are.
too.
It's funny because they're both, when you think about it, they're both bureaucrats, but they're so completely different. Like we were talking about how Wayun is like weirdly sort of aloof and like, whereas Brunt is a true believer in the cause.
Yeah. Actually, it would have been an interesting ending to this episode if they went with the Quark fakes his death plot. Would be he fakes his death, he gets away with it, but
He would.
Brunt can't pay up. He can't pay for
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
and that's
Oh, that'd be great.
And like so then he gets disgraced for breaking a contract.
That's a great ending.
That would have been and that would have made any future antagonism really, really good.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
specifically antagonistic. That would be cool.
I also was kind of waiting for there to be a technicality, like, for it just to work out to, well, it said 52 discs of desiccated Quark,
yeah.
so he just, like, goes and gets his feet exfoliated.
Ah,
You know, it's like, you didn't say what or how much. It didn't say I had to be dead, so here, have my foot dust. Asshole.
gross.
You'd probably get at least one disc of wax out of those disgusting ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we meet old Grant Nagus Gint in a dream.
Oh, yeah, I
liked him.
that was
Well-
amazing. It was so fun to see Max Grodenchik get to not use that voice.
Yeah, very weird decision. I mean, granted, it's a dream, and I know in dreams you're supposed to see mostly things that are familiar to you, but I'm also one who absolutely hates the foil in media of, it was a dream, you learned what you needed to know for the fucking show to progress from a dream, and I hate it.
It's a terrible conceit.
It's awful. It's played.
Yeah. But it was fun at least. The conceit is bad. It's not good to do like some incredibly bizarre dream where everything's very lucid and specific.
Yeah, and then
You know.
Quark wakes up and starts painting the Sung family.
Right, exactly.
But yeah,
like,
no.
but oh my god, like the first Nagus was fantastic. At one point, Max Grodenchik does this like little waddle
Yeah.
in order to get like to get closer to Quark, and he's just like like getting over. It was
You feel like even
he
though
was having
it's,
so much fun.
it's a dream creation of Quark, you feel like it's probably bang on. Right
Yeah.
down to naming it the rules of acquisition, because who would buy the,
Whatever.
you know,
Suggestions of
suggestions?
acquisition. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just said acquisitions like I was drunk. Sorry.
It's a hard word to say fast. Like self-sealing stem bolts.
Like judicial,
I did it!
like judicial system.
Well done.
Yeah, no, that scene, like, for all that the trope is tired, it was just, the first Nagus was a delight.
Also, I loved that Dream Brunt is as powerful as real Brunt.
Yeah.
Like Dream Brunt in the dream was just like, I know this is a dream. I'm
Yeah.
going to kill you anyway. Like,
I also like that he still introduced himself with his title like he always does.
yeah.
Like, we all know who you... This what?
We know who you are.
Yeah,
Oh.
Dream Brunt, very powerful.
Here's a question. We never called off the assassination with Garak, right?
Not on camera.
Is Garak still just going to turn up one day and be like, surprise?
See, I'm assuming
least
I
expects
kind
it.
of wish we had some conclusion to that, because my impression is that Garak has no intention of following through on this hit. That
Good.
he, I think he's just having fun playing with Quark.
Yeah.
Well, but also, he was like, you'll never know when it's coming. He's gonna let old age assassinate him. That's his plan.
Oh,
That's his plan.
sneaky.
Like,
No,
really,
no,
that's what I think, anyway.
Picard season 2, he's finally gonna strike.
It feels a little weird. Like, Garak's been kind of weird in the last few episodes, I feel
Oh,
like.
wait till the next one we're covering. I have thoughts.
Yeah.
But hey, we've learned.
Agreed
you know?
on that as well. But yeah, no, between him hitting on a 19-year-old and like
Ugh.
all this other garbage.
Well, I thought we agreed that he kind of wasn't hitting on her.
I hope he's not.
He's hitting on her. It's
But again,
like,
we don't know how
was
old
acting,
he
He was
is.
acting like a teenage boy, being like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
oh, this is another
Yeah, but
Kardashian."
except he was like, "Is she gonna kill me?" Not like,
Well,
"Are we gonna
yeah,
kiss?"
like,
But that turns him
afterward.
on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Well.
he likes the danger. But yeah, so I feel like Garak has been portrayed rather oddly lately, and it seems weird that like after being asked to kill him, that like he was very surface level about it. Like I loved his smile. He had a fantastic smile when he was asked to murder somebody. It's
Yeah.
like, finally, I got to use a real skill. But
His gardening.
but at the
Oh, I
same
love
time,
that. That was good.
yeah. But at the same time, it feels like Garak should have been the one who was kind of like, hey, why are you being so non-duplicitous about this?
Yeah.
You're Quark, and you asked me to help you.
Well, look,
Like,
he
the
was
two most
hired.
duplicitous people on the station.
He was hired as a hitman, not as an advisor.
I guess, but I feel like Quark would just be like, it's like, we can do better. We're
Yeah.
better than this. And that
I
would
mean-
have been an interesting conversation of just being like, no, we can get out of this. We can get out of literally anything. That's what we do.
Yeah, there's gray area in the contract. There almost certainly is. It's
There
a
has to
Ferengi
be.
contract.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only justification I could think of is like he spends, even after he finds out he's gonna live, he's still sort of shook by his realization that his life is not what he wants it to be, and he's just off his game. But that's all I got.
But
Yeah, it's not a great excuse.
that,
It's
yeah,
all
I was
can
like, that's
come
just
up
kind
with.
of a weak
Yeah,
justification
no, that's all I
for
have.
less than stellar writing.
But yeah, he seems off his game the whole time. Like
Yeah.
he was thrown badly. Does this mean now, since he can't like deal with Ferengi, he can't sue Alprax for malpractice?
Probably.
Aw.
That's too
Right.
bad. He was really
That-
looking forward to that.
That line read was so good.
It was.
Yeah.
You know what this means? I get to
there's
sue
gifs of
Dr.
that.
Orplex for malpractice!
There are many gifs of that expression, and he's amazing. Yeah, one last
anything
tangential
else?
thing. Yeah, one last tangential thing. I just wanted to mention, just because the timing of this happening was very funny. So this morning, Jake comes down to the kitchen where I'm making coffee and crying, and it's a great story.
It has, no, it's just that story had all the things I love in it.
Awesome.
Coffee and Ames crying.
Oh, it's
Yes.
so good. Oh, I started
was
every
good
morning
coffee.
thinking about
I
that.
wasn't because I beat her.
Yeah. Whoa.
No, so I've been there's an article in National Geographic I've been reading about desiccating corpses.
Oh.
I guess there was a woman who, 15 years ago said, like, I want to be part of the living cadaver system, or whatever it's
The
called.
living cadaver system.
No, the
body-
virtual cadaver system.
Oh.
Said
Not
the
body
living
worlds,
cadaver
no.
system. That's a different horror movie.
No. So basically, she says, like, when I die, like, freeze me solid and then slice my corpse up into 2,700 pieces to be used, in a virtual cadaver so that people can learn.
Oh, yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually, it's really, really, really cool. But the
Yeah.
thing that made me just all of a sudden just tear the fuck up was she had a request that her physician did not do, which I'm pissed about.
Jerk.
But no, her request was she wanted her teddy bear to also be frozen and desiccated. And I was like, teddy bear, no! And I cried for a while. It was weird.
Oh, honey.
They
It's
should
been
have.
that kind of year.
Maybe they physically couldn't freeze it and cut it
Yeah,
out.
like
Because
I-
so I don't know if this is the case with this, but I feel like I've heard stories where essentially they'll freeze whatever they want and they'll scan it and then scrape it. Like it's not cutting.
Yeah.
It's basically scraping it away.
Yeah, it's such a thin cut.
Right. So
And
like
it's possible that, like, however they freeze the body, like, the wool and the stuffing would probably just...
Right. That's what I'm
implode.
thinking. Is that it
I don't know, but it's
couldn't
frozen.
be prepared the same
It's
way.
frozen so cold, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's like, is there really... The reason it would work with the body is because we're full of liquid, though, no? The bear's not really full of...
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe if you completely soaked it, that would maybe.
There I hope there was a good reason and not just sloth.
Yeah, it didn't say in the article. It just said, she asked for this, and we told her no. And then she died years later, and they did the thing.
It's probably also expensive.
So, any other thoughts, or shall we move along to...
Move along home.
One last line. Molly says, "Are you my aunt?"
Ugh.
And I was like, "Fuck you, Molly. God damn it.
Molly's
you
adorable.
Suck.
You leave Molly
Who
alone.
the
She's
fuck
cute.
asks that?
She's cute. Molly does.
Little 3-year-old children ask that.
Met Kira before.
She is practically a baby.
Yeah.
And she's carrying her brother.
Also, I
she's
don't
a
like...
Bajoran.
Like,
I don't get it.
That's fine.
I don't know. I
Keiko is
thought
very
it was
attractive
cute.
until she does her big smile. I
Who?
don't know.
What
There's
is?
when Keiko does, like, there's a really big smile that she does sometimes, which looks like a grimace. I don't know why.
Just mean.
Well, you know how I am about faces.
That's true.
I have a
Consistent.
face thing. But yeah, she does
are.
a smile that, I don't know.
Speaking of faces...
She's otherwise very attractive. I don't understand.
Hey.
Broken Link.
Yeah.
So in Broken Link, Garak the Gardener is now Garak the tailor matchmaker.
Ooh.
And is all like, "Hey, Odo, could you come to my shop?" And Odo's like, "Whoa, what is it?" And out comes this Bajoran woman who's all like, so hot for him, it's crazy. And he's like, "Ah," and she walks away, and Garak's all, "Dude, why didn't you set up a date?" And he's all like, "Solids, dating." And then he has an attack. And, it turns out Odo is having trouble holding his form. And Bashir looks into it, and he's like, I don't know much about changeling physiology, but I know your physiology and your mass and density are all fucked up. Maybe this is normal. Maybe it's puberty. Maybe it's menopause. Maybe it's whatever. And then, Kira brings Odo the latest crime reports to entertain him. And he's all like, "My God, that woman who's been in a couple of episodes is back." And he tries to apprehend her, but then he turns to goo. And finally is like, "Let's be honest, the only way to deal with this is to go to the home world." So they all pile into the Defiant and putter off to the Gamma Quadrant. And
Including Garak. For
yes, reasons.
reasons.
And they putter off to Dominion space, basically sending out a distress call. Bunch of Jem'Hadar and the female Changeling, as she is known, show up. And are like, "Yeah, we'll, blind your ship and lead you to where our new homeworld is." And it turns out they infected Odo on purpose, because, they needed him to come home to judge him for being the first Changeling to ever harm another. Meanwhile, Garak is all... why do you say Garak like that? Garak is all... "Excuse me, did anyone survive from that attack a couple seasons ago?" And she was all like, "Fuck you and all your people, they're all dead." And he's like, "Oh, okie dokie." And then, Odo goes to get judged. While he's there, Garak is all like, "I'm gonna take over the weapon systems and decimate this planet. We're all gonna die, but fuck it, we'll have fucked over the Dominion." But Worf catches him in the act, and they have a fight. And that's resolved. And then Odo is judged. He is kicked out of the link. And being a changeling, he's a solid now. He's got a heart and lungs and a schlong.
He's people. They made him people.
They made him people, but they still gave him his putty face so that he could remember what he had been and what he had lost. And for some reason, Julian doesn't go, "I could just fix that now."
Yeah, Cardassians do it all the time.
Yeah. And then Odo gets a uniform, and he's like, "This is weird." And then it's like, "Come on, Garak, time to go to prison for 6 months for trying to genocide a planet."
Got off pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, he really
Yeah.
did. And Odo
Oh,
says
God.
as much. And then, in the end of season stinger, Odo's all like, sees Gowron on TV and is like, "Oh shit, that's one of my people! Bana!"
Cue Caitlin yelling because I don't get to watch it for a week, and then Chris is like, "Yeah, but imagine if you had to wait 5 months," and I was like, "Oh yeah, perspective,
It's not
fair
5
enough."
months. It's like
It's
3
like 3
months.
months, yeah.
No,
It's
sometimes
the summer.
Regardless, what a bunch of shit.
There was
Can
at
you
least-
imagine?
there was
maybe
at
you
least
can.
one season where they started really late, so it was like a 4 or 5 month gap. I remember that.
That actually might have actually been the season, unless Kira is still pregnant next season.
Yeah, that plot continues.
Oh, okay, then never mind. Probably not.
Yeah,
then.
because Nana Visitor is still pregnant in September when they
Well-
film.
Or that's what I was wondering was if they. Chris was saying it could have been later, so I was wondering if they had pushed out production so she could push out her baby, but sounds like that didn't happen.
No,
So-
in that case, it would have been fine just to try to write her into the background because
Yeah,
it wouldn't have come up
totally.
almost
Yeah.
at all.
Well, fine, fair enough. I don't know.
Always
God
behind,
damn it, Caitlin!
I'm not in television, okay? I don't
always
know.
behind big tables and
Yeah, you're not in television like Gowron.
Carrying around watermelons.
I like that Gowron just went full comic book supervillain and had just taken over all the frequencies to make his evil TV announcement.
I thought it was just being played everywhere because it was really important.
No, they said he's on all frequencies.
Oh, okay.
So he actually did. He pulled a supervillain move and was just like, I have taken over the airwaves. You will give me 1 billion strips of gold-pressed latinum or I will kerplode a thing.
Not Gowron. Gooron.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, man. Some shit goes down here.
Yep.
There's definitely a theme between these episodes.
What's the theme?
Well, I guess... What?
Sorry.
Why are you laughing at me?
No, I was just sorry, I was just like, I haven't thought that far yet.
Fuck you, James. I
Sorry,
have thought that
sorry.
far.
No, I'm really sorry.
I'm just trying to think of the right wording. It's
Yeah.
like,
The theme is Garak is a gardener now.
well, also that,
The
but
theme
giving
is Kira sneezes sometimes.
giving up your connection to your own people.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
Because-
now we have all these. We have a ton of disgraced characters now.
Yeah.
Quark is like court ordered not to deal with Ferengi or vice versa, and the changelings literally spat Odo out as people. So
And Worf can't,
No.
he's a disgraced Klingon.
Yeah, and Garak can't go home.
Yeah.
We have everybody. Literally all the characters are disgraced.
except Cisco, he's doing fine.
If only,
fine.
if only Jadzia had gone through with, well, not Jadzia, if the other woman had gone through with the relationship and rejoined, she could have been in the disgraced club.
Like
Yeah,
some kind
though.
of weird breakfast club.
Yeah.
So
This-
Garak
yeah.
trying to set up Odo with that thirsty Bajoran lady, huh?
Well, he
couldn't
knows
act.
that he likes Bajorans, right?
He likes Major Kira.
Well, I'm just saying, he at least, tried.
It was a little funny watching him play matchmaker.
He
Is
gave
that a
great
thing?
face.
Is that a thing Garak would normally do?
I mean,
I don't know. Garak was out of like how Quark was out of character last episode. I felt like Garak was out of character this episode,
Yeah.
and entirely superfluous.
Yeah.
I mean, if
don't
we
know.
assume Garak and Odo have been still doing their, occasional breakfasts and they're sort of buddies
And
now, I
Odo's
could
coffee
sort
trick.
of, I could sort of see it.
Yeah.
Or alternately, this woman came to Garak being like, hey, you're kind of tight with Odo. Could you do me a favor?
Could you do me a solid? With
Yeah.
the solid?
There are the...
Yeah, that's what I assumed. I assumed that she had gone to him, maybe because she said that she was a shop owner
Yeah.
on the promenade, so she
Oh, yeah.
probably sees them having breakfast or whatever.
Oh yeah.
They
And she's
share.
been ogling him, saying,
It's
"Oh,
just-
yeah, you walk by every morning. I really wish you'd come in."
It's just so weird. All she has to do is report crime.
He loves crime.
Just be like, oh, Odo, I think someone stole something from my shop.
I mean, maybe she's been waiting for an excuse for a while and nothing real has come up, so she was like, fuck it.
Some hooligans made my panties all wet.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yikes.
Here's the thing.
Is
you
WAP
feel
still
like...
topical?
It is now. I just feel like, knowing Odo, though, if he found out that she had called him fraudulently,
Yeah.
she'd be the one that wound up in jail.
You're under arrest. It's like,
Yeah, it's like-
oh, don't put the handcuffs on me, constable.
I don't have handcuffs. I do. What the?
Oh, I don't know. I like
I've
this
been
better.
Bad girl.
I like all of this better than I liked her because I didn't think she was a terribly great actress.
I'm doing her exact voice. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating.
I don't know
Yay.
if she needed to be a great actress. I think she just had to have certain attributes.
Well, they
And she
originally
had
wanted
them.
her to be a recurring character, and they were like, "Ugh, no, she's not working." Fuck
Good.
it.
Never
Bye.
mind.
They thought it worked with they got lucky with Lita. So they were like, "Yeah, let's do it again. I'm sure it'll work out. We need another female
Pair of
character."
tits.
Well, hate to see you go, love to watch you leave, ma'am.
She did the classic turn the body but not the head thing when she was leaving at the end.
Oh.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, she did a
Like
full
what?
owl.
She did a whole
Went like
360,
she kept
like
walking in
Exorcist
circles
shit?
in her
No,
head.
no,
just
no,
kept
no.
looking
Like
straight forward.
she turned around. Like just go back and watch how she
Alright.
turns to leave the shop.
And then
I
she
don't-
ate a mouse.
It's conspicuous. It's here. Look at my ass.
That's why they have the weird noses. Bajorans are actually evolved from owls.
At night, they cough up a Bajoran pellet.
I was trying to work in a pellet, so I'm glad that you made it, James. Thank you.
Teamwork.
Makes the dream
I like
work.
that there was a nice little touching scene between Quark and Odo. Which
Oh,
I
that
liked.
was lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. They have way more chemistry than anybody else.
Yep.
I-
I know, that was a
yeah.
great scene.
I'm gonna make so much more profit just on smuggling. Don't get used to it. Love
I'll
those
be back. Oh, so you're coming
Yeah.
back then?
Yeah.
See, that's why, like, that's
I'll
the
miss
thing.
you.
So, the producers can't decide if the couple is Bashir and Garak or Odo and Garak. I mean, it's obviously Bashir and Garak, but they
Yeah.
keep wanting us. They want to do like this love triangle thing or something, and they keep trying to shove
But it's Odo Quark.
Bashir Odo down us. I know it's Odo and Quark, and Bashir and Garak.
Yeah.
Like
Here's-
those are
Yeah.
the pairings.
Here's the thing, you guys have mentioned that Garak has seemed off. Maybe they showrunners were like, there's lots of homo going on with Bashir and Garak. Maybe we need to fix that. By which I
feel-
mean make a bad choice and try not to make them so
I know.
gay.
Well, then they should have if they wanted to no homo it, they should have put Garak with, a woman.
Well,
Zial?
that's why maybe they had the weird Zial date, was to be like,
Yeah.
no, see, Garak likes
Yeah.
women. Just barely legal women.
Yeah.
You
What's
know, like
awful-
men do.
What's awful is that
I
does
don't
feel
know.
like that could have been a note the network sent down.
I think it
Probably.
might have actually been. I'm trying to remember. There was some discussion on things like that in the documentary that came out.
I'm waiting to finish.
Yeah,
this
we
season
haven't
to
watched
watch
it
the
yet.
Yeah,
documentary.
that's fair.
Yeah,
And yeah,
likewise.
I won't say more than that, but like I think there was some discussion on
Yeah.
some of those topics with like
I mean,
what the network
one
was.
A case of the
requesting.
not a gays would explain the whole Zial plot.
It really feels
Yeah.
like it because like
Well,
there's
Go ahead,
doesn't
James.
add it. Sorry, no, it just doesn't add anything else.
And especially if they got enough complaints about the rejoined kiss earlier in the season and this and that.
Oh god, and I'm sure they did. There were probably Mothers Against Gay Kissing groups run all over the place writing letter campaigns.
I mean,
Yeah.
have you seen how hardcore Trekkies react to progressive things? Like
Bro,
Not
yes.
well.
Yeah.
some of
I
them
don't
are
know
real
if those
bad.
are hardcore
It might have just
Trekkies.
been. It
I
might
think
have just
those
been
are
Trekkie
hardcore
fans.
shitheads.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, there's a Venn diagram. They are shitheads and Star Trek fans,
Yeah.
and those people are in the middle.
It is surprising, though, the number of people who count themselves as Star Trek fans who seem to have really missed a lot of the messages. Like Rick
Yeah.
Berman. Ba 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 ba. I hate him.
Well, people that say shit like, don't make it political, why is everything... It's like, hi, do you remember all these things that... I mean, what? It's always been...
It was the first interracial kiss on TV. Like,
which...
Yeah, and that got lots of flack too.
Well, right, but that's what we're saying, like...
yeah,
th-
it's
they have always been a progressive for their time show. Well, and also, like, this is what I was trying to say before. I feel like I've read or heard that Garak's actor, whose name I can't remember now,
Andrew Robinson.
Andrew, yeah.
has said that he played Garak as gay. Like, that was always his intention, was that
Yeah, I've heard
Garak
that
was
too.
gay for Bashir, for sure. So, yeah, if I had to guess.
I alerted a moment ago that I thought Garak was kind of out of character and superfluous this episode, because when we decide we're going on a field trip to go bring Odo to his foster parents' house or something, Garak says, I'm coming too. And they're like, Garak, there's really no reason for you to come. Let's go so far out of our way to make up a reason so that in the plot it makes sense why you're here, even though you're only here to ask, are these Cardassians that we all assume are totally dead and have never thought were alive this entire season? Are they dead? Yes?
See,
Okay.
that didn't... I mean, Cisco letting him go was like, okay, fair enough, I guess. His desire to go didn't strike me as weird, though, when you consider, like, how close him and Abrin Tain were supposed to have been. Like that I'd buy. Like
Yeah,
that
to
on
me,
some
it's
level
weirder
he
that
just
Sisko says yes. You know?
he has to be sure that Anabrin is dead. Like that I believe that there's some part of him that is just
Then why
holding
hasn't
out
he done
hope.
it before? Why hasn't he gone out there before?
Well, because
and
I don't think he'd
found
have
some founders?
access to
That-
go out there.
Yeah,
I think
this
is
was
an
the first
opportunity.
easy opportunity. Like if he just went on his own, they'd fucking vaporize him. Going as part of this larger mission,
Oh yeah, it's a bit of protection.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, how would he get there? I don't think, as much as Sisko was willing to let him come be Odo's buddy, you don't see him being like, yeah, sure, borrow a runabout, and take a flight out to the Gamma
Also,
Quadrant.
can
like
stow away.
nobody knows where the homeworld is. See,
Right.
I think that the whole I don't think he actually believed that there were any survivors of the attack. I think the whole thing was
Oh,
a
was
plot
the
to
genocide?
get there and do the genocide and
Okay.
maybe finish what he started. And if maybe people would figure, I don't know how, but maybe they'd figure out that it was him and it would redeem his standing in Cardassian society posthumously.
Yeah, because that is
Okay.
always his goal.
I like that a
Because-
little more. It wasn't
Yeah.
really clear to me because it kind of came out of nowhere when all of a sudden he and Worf are fighting and breaking the set.
Oh God, that was
Yeah, I
hilarious.
love that.
Oh,
I
is
love
that not supposed to happen?
Well, because
The doors don't
we were
open
watching
that
it.
way, man.
Yeah, I was like, the
Oh.
doors usually open like this.
Yeah, we
But
watched
that
it
one
twice.
just fell in, and I was like, and then we rewound it. We're like, oh no, that's like definitely plywood back there. Like,
Nice.
We're
Whoops.
looking into the backstage,
Really
and they
funny
just
if there's
that's
like
the
Yeah,
take they used.
I loved that.
you
I
just
have to
see
go
it.
back now. and
There's an
watch that.
intern back there drinking a coffee. Kind of looks up, and goes, "Oh." See, like for me, I guess I had thought him wanting to go just to see if there was any possibility of any survivors. That I was like, that seemed believable enough. For me, the thing was him then apparently snapping and being like, "Let's genocide these fucks." I was like, wow, that's the part that struck me as weird because. I can see him as a kind of guy who maybe would want revenge, but not the kind that he wouldn't survive.
In that case, what I would kind of have wanted was any doubt that there could have been Cardassian survivors anywhere else in the season.
Yeah.
This is a long time after whenever this
Oh, yeah.
episode was where they all got effed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree though that my belief about that the genocide being his initial goal from the start isn't really supported by the
Anything
episode.
he's ever done.
But
I wish
think,
it were because that's interesting. That's
yeah,
more
I think
interesting.
that's a headcanon thing because I think having him be, I think having him go just so he could grovel to the founder about what about my friends
Nope,
isn't
we don't care about
fitting.
your friends.
I liked the female changeling's response to that, which is they're dead, they're all dead, you're all dead. Like it's like you're Cardassian, like all of Cardassia is dead for what you did to us. I thought it was implied that the whole plan was a setup.
That's what I thought too. Because they had already evacuated the homeworld.
Right.
Yeah,
And
they
this goes
had
back-
they had that Romulan changeling.
Yeah,
And-
so she's talking like it was this almost successful strike against them, and that their hubris will now cost them their entire planet. But I definitely thought the whole point was, hey, let's make these people waste a whole bunch of resources, get their entire fleet into one spot, and then nuke it all.
I mean,
Well,
it could be
it
that.
is. It can be both.
Yeah, it could be that they'd started that plan and then the changelings found out about it and did what they did.
Yeah, but it just felt oddly, weirdly revengey.
Well, the
and
Dominion
personal.
are also awful people, so
Oh, absolutely.
they don't have to be morally consistent.
Yeah, please
Absolutely.
see last week's episode, The Quickening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
no.
also goes back to one of my theories about that episode was that the homeworld that they went to, and thus the homeworld that Odo originally went to, was like a decoy homeworld.
Oh, yeah.
That,
I don't
that
think
was
it-
what I thought at the time. And I actually, even though it's not really supported in the episodes, I still think that because if you looked at the size of the Great Link in this episode
Oh, it's huge.
compared
Yeah.
to the size of the Great Link in Odo's, when Odo first got there, this was like an ocean of changelings versus the other Great Link, which was like a small pond.
It was so big that Bashir almost threw a rock into it because he forgot it was full of sentient people.
That
I'm
rock
just
was
You're
from
assuming-
dipped.
That rock was probably a sentient people.
That's the thing. I'm assuming that little rock that they were all standing on was just a changeling.
Honestly, like the very end shot where they're like it kind of like pulls away from the rock. I was really hoping that like
I was waiting,
the whole thing was going to melt into goo just to kind of be like,
that would have been cool.
They don't have the budget for that. Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they already had to do an ocean of changelings
And
in this
2
episode.
Odo fits.
Yeah, no, they spent so much on this episode. They had to make it so Odo won't shapeshift ever again.
We've expended our shape-shifting budget forever.
Yeah, it's funny you guys say that about The Rock, because Chris said that while we were watching it. Surely there must be a place where the changelings end and the planet actually begins, though.
Yeah, probably really far down.
Yeah.
Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, although, yes.
Oh, sorry.
Although I suppose there is a very slim, non-zero chance that actually is like the tip of some mountain, that there just weren't quite enough changelings to bury it, but I doubt that.
Or the whole planet is just changelings. Like, it's just changelings all the way down.
With a gooey fudge core.
The ones on the bottom are very, very tightly squeezed, and they're like, this hurts.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many changelings, they have a gravitational pull and an atmosphere around them.
So I very quickly had watched the past like 6 or 7 episodes or something to try to catch up as quickly and best I could. And I was starting to notice that I felt like the dialogue was starting to have nicer little character moments than there usually are.
There've been a lot of nice little character moments, yeah.
Yeah, like in For the Cause, there was sort of that discussion about the Maquis and like, you know, it's like, do you agree with them? Like, what do you feel? And, you know, Miles is just kind of like, they got shafted. I can understand where they're coming from. Like, he's not abdicating his duty and joining them or anything, but he's like, they're not monsters. I can appreciate what they're trying to do. And I feel like that was kind of a good little character moment where like the characters are just discussing amongst themselves something. And like this episode had an exchange where Worf was like, you know, was Dax's last toast as argumentative as this one? And Sisko says, I think he said like more so. And Jadzia just says, thank you, I think. And like, it's just cute. It's cute and it's nice. And like, they're kind of throwaway things that don't have to happen, but they're just these unique characters interacting with each other. And I feel like that really wasn't as present in the past as it really should have been. Like, they'd usually, like, they might have these discussions, but it would be like, you know, it was like when Jadzia talked to Kira about killing people. Like, okay, that's kind of like a character-based discussion, but it was always in service to the greater plot or something, instead of just being, these are unique people, this is how they would interact.
Well, this was, we talked about earlier that, you know, this season, one of the showrunners kind of went off to do something else. And the guy who now was fully in charge, like, was very big on, you know, he talked about how he really wanted to fix Bashir and all this other stuff. Yeah. So I imagine that this was also part of his, like, new push, was like, we're gonna do a lot of, like, extra character stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're knocking it out of the park with the characters, I think. Like I remember being like, okay, let's see how Dax and Worf actually end up, you know, butting heads or, you know, butting other parts. And they had a nice little moment where the two of them were just bickering about how antisocial they think Odo is, because they both have different perspectives on this. And I was like, actually, all of this actually works. I didn't expect it to, because normally I'd find like, they're going to bang at some point just because I happen to know. They're doing the bickering cute thing, but it worked and I liked it. So I think I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is building up. Like, they started their relationship, you know, kind of flirty, and, you know, they go in and they do the wrestling in the holodeck and
grunting.
But yeah. But this show, like, this is more than just, you know, with that stuff, it's just like, okay, they're connecting. Like, is the basis for this relationship that they're building just the fact that they both like Klingon shit? Because that's kind of thin. But now we're actually seeing that they have, you know, some type of a cute relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels believable that Jadzia would actually be attracted to someone who pushes back on stuff, even though she probably thinks it's kind of like adorable more than anything. She's probably like, "Oh, Worf, that's so cute that you're fighting with me on this. You're wrong."
Core did the same thing. Aww.
Yeah, no, it is really nice. Like, it's one of those things that, I know we talked about it before, but, you know, the one thing TNG never fully escaped was the, like, weird character sterility that Gene forced in the first 2 seasons.
Very true.
Like, even after he was gone and no longer had control, they never quite got that back on track, which it's just so refreshing to have these characters whose interactions feel so sometimes real and normal.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about this before. Like there's that quote from Rene Echevarria about how he much preferred writing DS9 because the characters are so distinct.
Yeah.
And like you don't need to necessarily even put down the characters' names on the page to know whose line goes to who.
Yeah.
Because these characters do all have a distinctive voice. And I found that when we were doing the fanfics recently, you know, I just thought, I was like, wow, okay, it's way easier to write these DS9 characters than it is to write TNG characters.
I would like to say, as a listener to this podcast, that episode was fantastic, by the way.
Our fanfic episode?
I really, really liked
I'm glad you
everyone's
liked it.
fanfics. Like, I'm not
thank
even
you.
kidding. My jaw literally dropped at the end of Jake's when, when you just straight up kill Gowron. Like,
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
hopefully they listen to it by now. But like,
Yes.
yeah, no, like all of the stories, like I was literally impressed with everyone's in different ways. It was
Thank
a
you.
lot of fun.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, that's good feedback.
It was a fun change of pace for us too, doing the
The voicing?
yes, but writing it as a screenplay, teleplay as opposed
Yeah, I
to
like
Yeah.
that format. I
Story.
thought that was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think
see-
it
we'll
worked
see
for-
if we
worked
keep
for-
it up.
for radio.
You should definitely keep it up.
Okay, good to know. Thank you for the feedback.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So yeah, Solido, what are we calling him now?
Odo, that's his name.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I
it's-
just was trying to.
You call him what he was
His name
which
is
Odo.
still unknown sample, so
That's true.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh.
That is depressing. But yeah, that's a thing. They've made him people.
That's going to be hard with the first time he has to take a dump.
Yeah.
oh god.
He's gonna need definitely like someone there holding his hand.
I'm just imagining though, like he presumably he has a penis.
Bro, he has no boner control, right?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm just imagining
Yeah,
him walking
no
around the
boner
station
control.
with a
Oh,
massive
God.
raging hard on.
Oh, God!
I can't help it, guys. The fabric keeps rubbing against it. What am I
Oh, it's
supposed
a-
to do?
I
Oh,
think
it's my nightstick. Oh, gee.
He didn't have the awkward teenage years of learning to control it. It's like puberty now. Julian was right.
For real, though, yeah. I just imagine every time he sees Kira for the next couple of weeks, he's just like,
Oh, yo.
Hi, Major. I'm gonna be holding these textbooks here for a while.
Oh, no.
Pads. It's just a pile of pads.
Yep. And then she sneezes 15 times in a row, which was actually decent progression of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing
Good
that was mentioned
callback.
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was also
Yeah.
part of the crew having conversations that were just kind of enjoyable
Oh,
and
taking
realistic.
bets on her.
How many
when
sneezes?
she starts sneezing and Jedzia is just like 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
But man, that must be miserable.
Oh, yeah.
Like human pregnancy seems miserable enough,
Yeah.
but to deal with like all that stuff, plus you now sneeze uncontrollably.
I would
constantly.
rather have
just-
uncontrollable sneezing than barfing all the
Yeah,
time.
so I was about to say, like, I know a coworker of mine who's had 2 kids, and both times she doesn't just get morning sickness, she gets it, like, vicious. I'm sure if you asked her what she'd rather have, she'd be like, yeah, no, I'd rather just sneeze all the time.
A lot of people go through that with allergies anyway.
I mean, she could
Plus,
have
like,
rolled
honestly-
the dice on the thalidomide, you know.
Morning.
Oh, no.
The other thing is that morning sickness is kind of a misnomer. It's kind of like all the time sickness. I don't think it's just the morning.
Well, no, but
is
there,
my
I guess
understanding.
it actually, some people, though, do tend to have it happen more often in the morning, and some will have it more, like my other coworker recently announced they're pregnant. She said, I actually have it more in the afternoon. So
Why are you talking about pregnancy so much with your coworkers?
Because they're pregnant.
that's what happens.
you supposed to
We're
do?
your baby.
like, I don't ask. There's like, hey, just so you know.
Well, especially right now. I mean,
Touch
we're all
your
stuck indoors. The only thing going on right
And actually,
now...
this one coworker is on my section. I'm her backup for certain things. So, I mean, I gotta know, because that means I gotta do some of her work in March.
You've got to know when she's vomiting.
Oh, no, that was because someone else asked. I don't know. People do that sort of stuff.
Especially, like, people who have been through pregnancy
Yeah.
before like to be like, how are you doing with the morning
fair.
sickness?
And I think that's
Here's
what it
my
was.
folk remedy.
It's really awful. It's awful, isn't it? Yeah.
Like,
Have
my
you
team
tried
is-
apple cider vinegar?
Did you do jumping jacks? That can induce pregnancy.
Have you done a pickled juice enema?
Pregnancy? Not that. Labor. No. Jumping jacks causing pregnancy sounds like something from Seinfeld, doesn't it? Like, I
Sounds like-
got gonorrhea from riding on his rusty
I was
old
gonna say, it
truck.
sounds like something from like Christian camp.
school, yeah.
Oh, you can only do squat thrusts because jumping jacks will lead to pregnancy.
So, but anyway, we got off course. What do we feel like as a concept, though, of like their punishment for Odo making him people?
I think
Like
it's
it's kind of
horrible.
fascinating.
It seems like
pretty
I
harsh.
think the female changeling summed it up best as this is even crueler. We should have just killed him.
Yeah. There was a good quote in the big book of Deep Space Nine that I've been reading that talks about how Odo is the anti-Pinocchio. So you've got Spock in TOS, who's half human, who's already got the human stuff going on. You've got Data, who secretly, not so secretly, wants to be human, wants to be
Yeah.
a real boy. And then you have Odo, who does not want to be a real boy. He wants to be a better puppet. He wants to be a better Pinocchio. He wants to learn who Pinocchio is without having to be a real boy about it. So to make him a real boy all of a sudden, like, you've just upended his identity entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he does have that line at the end where he's just like, you know, my job is the only thing I have left.
Like Worf. It's so
Worf has
sad.
Alexander. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, I do like Garak trying to put a positive spin on it for him, though, at the end. Like, in a weird way, it's like, wow, there's all this stuff he will get to experience as an adult that we all just sort of take for granted because we experienced it before we were conscious, you know?
Oh, man, creme brulee.
His first
Your
uncontrollable
first
boner.
creme brulee. Yeah,
Your-
well, that
yeah.
too.
Your first, well, no, we were all old enough to remember the first time we were turned on.
I feel like a lot of people don't, though, do they?
I mean, I would have been sentient for it, but I don't think I remember it.
This has gotten very awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all now thinking about our sexual awakenings.
I'll have a story about that on a future episode.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Why?
I'm looking
Because it was
forward to
probably
it.
during an episode.
Were you watching Dax doing jumping jacks?
No.
Jake, if I subscribe to your Just Fans, can I hear about it sooner?
Yeah, we should all do our sexual awakening fanfics.
But yes, I'm sure, again, from Odo's perspective, it's really not worth it. But if you had to find the silver lining, like you said, Abe's his first time eating creme brulee, or, you know, like,
Wool socks.
you say, on the one hand, I'm sure his first shit will be terrifying,
Yeah.
but his first truly satisfying shit will be a whole different experience.
Yeah, if his first meal is like Taco Bell or KFC or something,
no.
it's
No.
Oh. Yeah, no.
Gah.
So I have something absolutely unimportant to bring up.
Sure.
Yes.
Those are my
please.
favorite kinds.
Renee Auberjonois seems to have really tiny nipples.
I said that! I was
so
like, look at
glad.
his teeny
I'm
tiny
so
nips!
glad.
I made fun of his little nip knobs when they showed him.
Oh, God.
I don't know if they're tiny or if there was just no areola.
No, I think...
Because
I think nipple size is largely variable,
right,
but he's also like a beanpole of a person, and I kind of wonder if nipple size is ever related to like how much meat you have in the area, for lack of a better term.
I don't know.
This is a very meaty group, so.
We also don't know, like, I don't know, maybe they just put too much makeup on his chest.
On his nipples.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that's true. They
like-
probably were trying to blend his natural skin color with the color of his prosthetics.
that's I was
that
kind of
makes
wondering
sense.
that.
I think he's just got teeny tiny nipples.
You might.
What are you Googling?
That's okay. I was just I was a little surprised, I guess.
Everyone has a differently shaped areola, aka
Jesus
the pigmented
God.
skin that surrounds the nipple. Genetics has the biggest role in determining the size, appearance, and color of the areola. Puberty, periods, and pregnancy, apparently this is for women, can also change the appearance of the areola over time. Sorry, assigned women at birth, excuse me. And
This article's acting like men don't have areola. We totally do.
what the size of your nipple really means.
Because
Wow. Okay, this is fascinating, but this is going to be a very long episode.
True.
We haven't even done tops and bottoms yet.
You know, this is all about Lady Areolae. Fine.
But I'm sure
I'll find something better.
the technology, I'm sure the science is the same. They're the same organ.
Well, yeah, but
You started this, Rossi. God damn you.
Welcome.
we'll talk.
It was really important. I clearly wasn't the only one.
Yeah, no, that's I also
it
exclaimed.
was the first thing she said when she looked at him.
Aw.
And I think you said something about him having a schlong immediately, so I just
Well,
feel
because
like...
seriously, I'm detecting a heart and kidneys and a schlong. Like, that's the thing. Like, you can't pretend they didn't both notice it immediately, but they both pretended they didn't.
Yeah, because he's naked.
Yeah.
So they definitely saw his dick.
So speaking of which, do we think
His
that...
pubic hair is like the hair on his head.
Stop.
No.
Stop! No!
God. It's just like a shell.
It's all, like, greased down, just like his fucking
no,
hair.
I was gonna say,
Ugh.
like,
Blech.
this is actually a semi-serious thing.
Oh.
Not serious, but like, is Odo fertile? Like,
Oh.
could he
Oh, that's interesting.
have? Could there be a baby Odo, and would it be? I mean, I guess it would be all human.
Yeah, it would be human,
Yeah.
right?
But would it inherit the face?
Yeah. Oh, no.
I mean,
not if it's
well,
lucky.
He has blood.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, no.
if
I mean,
he's
presumably he
positive.
could.
So he
Yeah.
has a DNA,
O negative.
presumably.
Is O negative the universal donor or recipient?
I don't
Donor.
remember.
That's
Well,
universal
either way,
donor.
he's either really lucky or making a lot of other people really lucky. They
I
probably...
mean, I'm assuming in the future they can just like synthesize
That's
as
true.
much blood as they need.
Well, that's what they did in True Blood, so I guess. Obviously, they're in the same universe.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it would be... Yeah. I don't know that they would want him having kids, so they may have made him sterile. Just as
That's-
another act of, like, you know...
Yeah, that's even worse.
You're not just people, you can't even pass yourself along. Like,
Well, I also wonder, like, is he legit? Because I don't imagine that the changelings have the magic power to turn him into human. I think they had him, they formed him into human and then somehow locked him in that shape, like prevented him from reverting back.
well,
But he was reading human, right, on the instruments?
Yeah, but they said previously that when he's being a thing, he is that thing.
Oh, okay.
And he gets detected as that thing. So it would be magic, right? If they just synthesized human flesh out of nothing. I still think he is made out of changeling. He just cannot revert
yeah.
to any other shape.
Yeah,
Or
'cause
they-
we've seen the
Interesting.
blood, but the blood usually turns very quickly
Yeah.
yeah.
to changeling goo.
Well, maybe what they did is they built organs in him
Well, he
that
definitely has organs.
obviously, but I'm saying, like blood is made out of, we manufacture blood as part of being alive.
yeah.
So maybe the blood is real blood being made by his organs, which are made out of changeling.
Maybe they just devolved him back into their original form, that species that seeded the galaxy.
Ah, yes, the fucking chase. God damn it.
Well, and if those aliens were able to seed the galaxy, that means he's fertile.
So wait a minute. So I don't know if I mentioned this at the time, but so that actress, the female changeling, that actress first appeared as a different, we assume a different character in The Chase.
Mm-hmm.
But this character was introduced in The Search.
The hide and the
theory.
seek. I wondered a
my
little
God.
bit when we see a female changeling who doesn't have a name, who's just called female changeling. Is it always her, or is it other changelings taking on that shape?
Oh. I think it could be others, especially because
They share knowledge and all this.
Yeah, the changelings share so much information that at times they probably don't know themselves from the next person.
Yeah.
The ocean becomes the drop.
Yes.
Drop becomes the ocean.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, the Great Link seems to just be like, it's like you just share all your information with everyone.
Yeah. Gowron has eyes for days and is now a changeling.
Mm-hmm.
Man, who got that job? That must be a hard one. What is
I don't
with
know.
his
He's
eyes?
pretty predictable.
No, I just mean keeping his shape,
Oh,
though.
Nice. Okay, fair.
His eyes make no sense.
I wonder if other changelings have to revert to liquid form after a certain amount of time, like Odo does, or if that's just because he's just not very good at it.
I have to imagine that because they can do things he can't, like hair and, other things, that they may have to rest, but it's probably a lot longer.
Because I'm going to say, at that point, like, that would be pretty dangerous impersonating a high-profile person, because if somebody walks in on you in your bucket,
Yeah.
What's going on? Where's Gowron? Oh, I got something on my shoe. Jeez.
Maybe they have a team. Maybe they have a team of changelings.
Mm.
All shifting when being Gowron, different times.
There we go.
Interesting. And that would be easy, because they all share thoughts anyway, so it wouldn't be like they would accidentally drop the ball somehow.
Yeah.
Relay changeling.
Yeah, and then whoever's napping at any given time, the one who's out and about, can make sure he's hidden and no one checks on him.
Gowron's always walking out of rooms being like, "Don't go in there!"
I took a massive dump.
Dude, Klingon dumps have to be the worst. The worst.
Or in some sort of bizarre irony, they actually do smell like pleasant flowers.
Yikes. Yikes.
You think your shit smells like roses. It's jasmine, actually.
So Garak tries to, not sabotage, but tries to take over the ship, or at least the weapon system, attempts a genocide, assaults a Federation officer, and he gets 6 months in the can.
Yep.
Is that a fair punishment, we think? Or,
No. God, no.
Like, I'm surprised that...
But gosh, he's just so charming. He's the most charming attempted genocidist that we ever have met.
I mean, it's not even like there were mitigating circumstances. Like, sometimes you can be like, okay, I can understand they gave a light sentence to Kirk for all the bullshit he pulled because he also saved Earth.
Yeah.
But Garak hasn't really done anything good to mitigate a light sentence.
He's making Bashir a better man.
I think it's just because Cisco knows it's useful to have him around.
Maybe.
I mean, if he's in a cell, you've got him around all the time.
I mean, they could also,
Like, I'm sure he would have been well within his rights to have him sent to a penal colony for the rest of his life. But it's
or like deported to Cardassia, which would just be a death sentence.
Yeah, there's plenty of things he could have done, but he was like, I mean, I'll admit, the one thing that would suck is those cells are pretty small. And, like, having to spend 6 months in that, even with, I'm sure, occasional, like, walkabouts.
Visits from Bashir.
Like, that would suck. You know, like, I don't mind having been quarantined at home, but if I had to spend the whole quarantine in my room, I might have gone a bit daffy.
Yeah, well, I also think part of the problem is that, it's just a force field wall. So there's not really any privacy at all.
Yeah, no. And he'll be in there with Bajoran drunks throwing ethnic slurs at him from across the room.
I bet you can darken a force field.
Maybe.
I also bet they might just confine him to unused quarters or something, so...
Maybe.
Or maybe there's a bigger back room. Maybe that's like the drunk tank, and in the back they have like real actual
proper
cells.
Yeah, they've got to have something else. There's not even a
Odo's
bathroom.
Gonna get tired of his bullshit after a day and let him out on good behavior.
No, just let him out on behavior.
They would not only that, they would just be like, you know what, I'm sick of you talking, just get out of here, and he deactivates the force field himself.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Could have
Could have walked out
guys.
anytime.
I hate to say it, but we've been going almost an hour and a half, and we haven't done our tops and bottoms. So
That's
maybe we
true.
should,
Oh my gosh.
move ahead.
Madness. Sheer madness.
All right. Well, I
It
say...
was a good season.
It
Yeah.
was a good season.
Hot dog this season.
Yeah, no, I had 3 bottoms, and then it was like way too many tops, and I had to whittle.
I had 4 of each.
So,
I have something like that I'm just going to make a call on the fly after more context from today.
Really solid season. It had a lot of genuinely good episodes, and then it had episodes that I loved that were fun that will not be making the list. Yeah. Little Green Men is not in my top, for example.
That's surprising. I was going to pin that one out, like just automatically put it on the list.
I'm wondering if you're going to have it in your bottom, Ames.
It's pure fun, but there were so many just episodes that were genuinely good that to put it on the list above one of them would just be a lie.
Well, why don't we stop keeping the people in suspense?
Yeah.
Who's gonna go first?
You,
Why me?
because you asked.
Fuck.
Yeah. No,
Start
I
with
agree.
bottoms.
Caitlin should always go first.
Bottoms
Bottom.
first.
Yeah.
No, let's do
Bottoms
tops
up.
first, because
Really?
the tops are funner.
No,
Okay.
I like ending on the high note.
Do you? Well, goddamn,
Yeah.
I hate it.
High note. End on a high note.
Okay, so I guess I'm doing the bottom.
High note. End on
Uh,
a high note.
I don't
You
have-
can't hit that note, Rossi.
Yes, I can. I'm doing it. High note. High note.
So my bottom three. Keep in mind that I reviewed them last night and now don't remember anything about them. So I don't have a lot of great reasons to say why these are my bottom. One of them you probably expect. The others I don't know. But I put down A Session, Crossfire, and
Oh, okay, yeah.
Rules of Engagement because it was awful.
Which one was this session?
Yeah.
That was the Dajaras.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just hated that.
Yeah.
I thought you liked Crossfire more, because that was an Odo.
Yeah.
Crossfire.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like it either, but I thought
so
it would be higher in your list.
Thing is, I also put the Muse as honorable mention because as great as the Luoxana Odo stuff was, the Muse stuff was unfucking
The
watchable.
pedo shit was weird, yeah.
The pedo
Yeah,
shit.
and same with Crossfire. Odo gave me feelings, but fucking Shakar and his stupid bullshit. I was just like, ugh. You're like in your 40s or something and you're acting like you're 12. It's dumb. So there you have it, my bottom three.
Awesome. Jake goes next.
Okay. This shouldn't be too surprising, I guess. My bottoms, in no particular order, are The Muse, Rules of Engagement, and Crossfire.
Wow.
Yeah. And for pretty much the same reasons that Caitlin mentioned. Crossfire, I don't know, I didn't actively dislike Crossfire, I guess, but it was so nothing to me. It was boring.
That's almost
and-
worse, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's when something
being
is so
not
unremarkable.
exactly. Yeah, I actually you had I know you had A Session on there, but I didn't mind that one as much. I didn't write down. I had other honorable mentions, but I didn't write them down. So
I
those
think
three.
it just maybe it was the ideals that I object to more than the episode itself. But when I remembered it and what it was about, I was like, ugh. So that's how it made it on there, because I was just like, oh, that fucking guy. So, well, Ames, I think you should go next.
I can go next, absolutely. I'm going to have a couple different episodes, though I agree, I did not care for Crossfire or A Session. Luoxana made the Muse more tolerable than I thought, so the Muse I didn't mind, but my bottom three are going to be Body Parts, for all the reasons we just discussed.
Of course, yep.
All the missed opportunities, and we wrote a much better episode in the past little while than they ever could. Shattered Mirror on principle, and Rules of Engagement, because it was stupid and had a really, really dumb literary technique.
Yeah. What was their second one?
Shattered Mirror, the
Yeah, what was...
Mirror
mirror
Universe one.
episode.
Oh, yeah,
the
of
one
course.
with
Okay,
Jennifer
yep.
Sisko.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care for Jennifer Sisko at all.
Yeah, no, she sucked. I'm with you. I liked it the fact that the word mirror was in it didn't tip me off to what it was. At first I was like, wait, is that shitty Julian episode? No, wait, wasn't that last season? What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, that was terrible.
Super confused.
That
Anyway.
that one's bad enough to be the top three for the next, or the bottom three for the next 4 seasons.
Yes.
Well, listen. Bottom however many is coming someday at the end.
Great.
So
Chris, tell us yours.
Crossfire, because it was high school drama in DS9.
Yep.
Fuck that. This one I'm going to get some flack for, I think, probably. Indiscretion.
Really? Interesting.
Because the B plot was garbage.
Which was it?
It was like Cisco's afraid of commitment all of a sudden.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one.
And the A plot was just tonally all over the place.
I have a spike in my ass. Isn't that funny?
And the butt.
And I'm also just always deeply uncomfortable when Kira is alone with
Dukat.
Gul Dukat. I'm always waiting for him to, try something.
Well, also just them sort of getting along sometimes just makes you feel
Wrong.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, in a better episode, that could have been great, but I just feel like it wasn't in a good episode. And, surprising no one, rules of engagement.
Bingo.
Yep.
Fucking-
that one was silly.
That
Let's see
conceit.
what Rossi thought, though.
Yeah,
Did Rossi love rules of engagement?
Nope, all of mine were similar and on your lists. The Muse was so uncomfortable. I actually only watched was that the A plot or the B plot?
They were kind of interchangeable.
Well, it was called the Muse. Oh, I suppose you could say that Luoxana is also the Muse because she drew all that beautifulness out of Odo.
Right.
But I think that the alien thing was the Muse, so I assume that's the A plot.
I feel like the Luoxana stuff was like the best part of the episode, and I was still pretty let down by that stuff. And isn't that the last time that
Last time.
like she doesn't show up again, and that's a huge shame. Like that's not like the send off that character deserved.
Did
It's her swan
Did I
song.
say during that episode, I wonder if we'll see the sun in Picard?
I think you did.
Okay.
If not, you
Still
said it
wondering.
after we finished recording, but now it's on
maybe
tape
I don't
again.
know. I would love to call that back.
It would be really great to have that character show up in Picard, so that terrible things can happen.
Oh no, they'll all get murdered horrible ways.
So it's like the sexual grooming aspect of the Muse was just so atrocious and so
Deeply
terrible that I was skipping it. Like it wasn't cool from a story standpoint, and I actually think it was really inappropriate from like in the real world putting Sirach Lofton into that situation, even though he might have actually been 18 at that point. Like they literally had a woman like whispering sexy things into this 18-year-old's ear.
Yeah.
Like technically legal, really not okay.
That's a good
you know.
point. I hadn't even really thought of it that way.
Right.
It's even worse that way.
Yeah. And
What was your number one, Rossi?
the others are Shattered Mirror. I didn't even rewatch it. I skipped it and I was like, bottom three. I'm not even I remember enough. I don't care. And some of this is only because I was only able to really catch up with the back half of the season, but Ascension I really didn't enjoy.
Hooray.
I think it continues to portray the show has created the Bajorans and then is basically like if a show had a race of people and treated them the way this show treats the Bajorans, we would all think it was unacceptable because they're like intentionally portrayed as this over the top negative caricature of what a group of people could possibly be.
Yeah,
and
we keep saying they're the worst. They shouldn't be allowed in the Federation.
But it's like if someone had been like, like, oh, this is what people from Delaware are like, and then portrayed the the Delawareans like Bajorans, you'd be like, whoa, this is actually really a little too far and unacceptable. Like,
you've been to Delaware.
This isn't okay.
It's a nightmare.
And so it's just further bizarre, terrible treatment of the Bajorans, and yeah.
Yeah.
And those are my three.
Nice. All right, let's talk about good things now.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot. There was a lot of good this season.
That was really hard coming up with my top three.
Yeah.
Are you still coming up with your top three, Jake?
No, I have a top three. It's just
Okay.
I had to cut a lot of things that I really liked
Yeah.
to come up with the three that I liked the most.
Do we want to start with Caitlin again, or do a
Yeah,
different
same order.
Same
All
order.
right, Caitlin, come on, give it to us.
All right, The Visitor, because
Yeah.
just the acting,
Yeah.
especially from the young Jake Sisko, Shirok, because like we had never really seen him act like this before, and he acts the hell out of it, and it's beautiful and sad and so good. Hard time,
Rock.
because God, what a good fucking episode that was, and Rejoined.
Sweet.
Even though it hurt me, maybe especially because it hurt me, I don't know. It didn't do what I expected. Well, I guess no, that's not even true. I knew that it couldn't happen, but the way it didn't happen, I was like, oh, ouch. So, I don't know. Anyway, I really liked it, just in general. Because it's sort of like with The Visitor, it's like we got the best Terry Farrell that we had really gotten.
Terry Farrell.
Like Will Ferrell.
I was thinking like Pharrell Williams.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's where I got that from. Anyway, I thought she was really brilliant in that episode, and I felt like that was sort of, I I don't know if that was like the start of her turning into like a better actress a lot of the time, but it felt like it kind of was, and I don't know. I just thought it was nice.
Awesome.
It flawed.
Jake?
Okay. Yeah, mine shouldn't be too surprising either. So I also had The Visitor. I also had Hard Time. And my third is different. It is The Quickening.
That was my I don't know if you can see what that says.
I can see.
But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Nice.
The
Oh,
listeners
yeah,
definitely can't see.
What was the top one that was crossed out?
that was rejoined. I had a last minute switch, but The Quickening is definitely like tied for third or something.
Yeah, I can't disagree on Rejoined either. And there's, like I say, I think there's probably 3 or 4 others
Yeah.
that I could have put on this list and been okay with.
Yeah, we definitely had an embarrassment of riches this season
Yeah.
instead of like a bunch of shit. Well, not that we've ever had a bunch of shit, but we've certainly had a more middle of the road
Season
shit.
1 of TNG was...
I'm talking about D Space Nine.
Oh.
I'm not talking about the entire animated series. We're
Yeah.
trying to pick 3 good episodes from that. I'm just saying, like, Deep Space Nine has by far been the most consistent, in my opinion, in terms
Yeah.
of good or at least bearable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the least shit. Like, there is very little that's, like, outright bad.
Yeah, that's to say, I mean, even with my bottoms,
Like, these
even though I
bottoms, yeah,
really
they're
didn't
not-
like them, I think maybe out of those 3,
Rules of
none
engagement.
of them were really offensively
Yeah,
bad.
I don't know if any of these bads will make it onto the series bads at the very end when we do that.
Unlike quiet words or distant whispers
Distant
or
voices.
whatever. That... Oof.
Code of honor.
Yeah, I had, this is going to shock exactly everyone. No, it won't. Because I also had The Quickening, which, as of last week, when we watched The Quickening, I was convinced I was going to have a different top 3 because I really was banking on Starship Down making it to the end of the season for me. But it just got beat out by The Quickening. So the great screen grab of Starship Down I had ready to go.
Yeah.
Sad. But I really thought Starship Done was solid because it had a lot of great moments, but then The Quickening happened. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this. And then, not going to be a surprise, my other 2 are Hard Time and The Visitor, because they're just stunning stories.
Nice. Well, your work is not completely in vain, Ames. Starship Down.
Yay!
Just wonderful bit of character scenes and drama, and it's a submarine movie, and Kool-Aid Manning torpedoes
Oh, yeah!
to steal Ames'
Somebody
joke.
should make it so that when a torpedo hits your hull, there's a built-in speaker that says, "Oh yeah!"
But only if it
The
doesn't
last thing you
explode.
hear.
It has to pierce the hull and not explode.
What does it say if it explodes?
Oh,
crap!
no!
Rejoined, because it was a damn fine episode
Yay,
and
okay.
a major turning point for Dax. And The Visitor, because it's the fucking Visitor.
Yeah. I am actually shocked our man Bashir isn't on your list, Chris.
That, like Little Green Men, was like, I love it. It is pure joy. But I can't lie and say it's a better episode than not just the stuff on my list, but even the stuff that didn't make my list that was on your guys' lists. Like, I can recognize that is because I love James Bond and I love Star Trek, and little me had a soft spot for Moonraker. So, like, it's a great episode. It is so much fun, but I'm not gonna lie to anybody. Just like I wouldn't
Like you
lie
did
about...
with Time Zero that one time.
I was gonna say, it says the man who put Time's Arrow on his list.
Just part 1. Part 2 was
I
bad.
knew you were going to say that. It's always what you say.
Yeah, for a while, Hippocratic Oath was up there with me, too.
Yeah, Hippocratic Oath.
Oh,
was,
that's
like
one-
that was definitely one of my top few.
Is that when he's trying to cure the
Cure the
Jem'Hadar of their
yeah.
white addiction?
It's good.
Yeah.
And Miles sabotages it out of pure racism.
Yeah, I was going to say Miles the racist O'Brien fucking strikes again.
There's some potatoes O'Brien in the freezer right now.
We do have potatoes O'Brien in the fridge.
Oh,
and that's
man,
not
I'm
us being
getting hungry.
racist. That's just
I-
the truth.
I have beef stew in the crock pot in the kitchen next to me, and
Stop.
it's tormenting me right now.
It's a good
I
day
love
for it.
beef
It's chilly.
stew.
I miss your cooking, Ames.
I'll-
Jesus. I mean, I miss you too, but I really miss you. I miss you.
Well, we can still interact.
That's
we
what I
can't
mean.
have your stew.
I don't get to interact with your beef stew. So
So Rossi, though, where
Yes.
are you for your talks?
So I do kind of want to make like the shout outs for Our Man Bashir and Little Green Men, which are episodes that I adore, but they are not better than other episodes in the season.
But God, they're good.
But I love them. I love them
Yes.
so much.
The Umox can get dropped, though.
Yes.
Umox dropped it
Yeah.
way down
Yeah,
my
any
list.
reference
that-
to
yeah.
Umox can get dropped.
It needs to stop.
we didn't even mention there was a
there
Umox
was.
in the Brunt
Ugh.
episode.
Brunt has such
Hated
long,
that.
slender fingers.
Oh.
I would rather fucking Umox the Grand Nagus than Brunt. Seriously.
Woof.
Yuck.
Anyway, back to Rossi.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so The Visitor, which
Yay.
actually is an episode I didn't even get to rewatch. And I remember it being so good and like kind of coming out of nowhere
Yeah.
during the
Yeah.
season, where it's just sort it's like there's, it's like you don't necessarily expect, like a grown man crying about his like ghost dad. So I love it.
It's so beautiful.
Also Hard Time, because Miles O'Brien sad story. I always like those.
Me too.
I'm almost second guessing myself now, but like I liked For the Cause a lot.
That almost made my list.
With
That's where
It's a
Eddington
good
joins the
one.
Maquis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Okay,
and
yeah.
reveals he's always
Yeah.
been Mucky.
And
Yeah.
Eddington makes the same point I do about the Federation and the Borg.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and that's also got that great Cassidy Yates B plot. Too.
Yeah, that was
Well,
a-
I mean, hardly a B plot, but
Yeah, basically all intertwined. But like, yeah, no, and it also like it's interesting because it also like it shows a lot of stuff about Cisco that's
Yeah.
incredibly ugly.
Oh
Which
yeah,
is
he's
interesting.
manipulated very easily. Holy
Yeah,
cow.
but like he gets manipulated, but then also like, when he's talking to Eddington, he's basically like, I will chase you to the ends of the earth and murder you for what you've done.
Yeah.
Like he is like
You
furious.
made me have a fight with my girlfriend.
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say, to be clear, what you've done is fuck up my relationship. Like,
Yeah, but
Ugh.
like the whole like it's like his rage at Eddington is like out there.
I've said it
And-
before, like, Cisco makes a lot of sense in the mirror universe.
Yeah. But it's like your disloyalty. Like
Yeah.
it's not whether the Maquis are in the right or in the wrong. It's that you put on that uniform and you lied to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so narrow in what he considers as moral or not, and I found that really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's like for a lot of that episode, you see the Federation being on the wrong side of like of history and of what's right or wrong, and you also have a few good character interactions discussing the Maquis, and Worf being like, it's like, you're a terrorist, that's dishonorable, and Miles says, oh, you better not let Kira hear you saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I could keep talking, and I that's not what we're discussing. We're not discussing that episode. You did that like a week or two ago. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to that point though, I mean, having a vengeance obsession is like the official like, oh, you're a real Starfleet captain now.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk had the Klingons, Picard had the Borg, and now
Well, Kirk
Cisco has Eddington.
Kirk had the Klingons. Before he had the Klingons, he had that gas that killed a bunch of his men.
Oh, that's
yeah,
true.
the
Yeah,
white
that
whale
was his
gas.
first obsession. That was literally
yeah.
an
oh,
obsession.
obsession. Just kidding. Yeah,
Wait, what did you say, Caitlin?
nothing. I said suspicion, like an
Oh,
idiot.
you were close.
You know what
No.
you said? What you
Sus.
said was, this has been a long episode.
Yeah.
We should go.
Yes.
Oh.
I need to eat that stew.
Jake is
Thank
out.
you for listening to a Star Trek steered by.
Good enough. Keep going.
Oh, thanks, Jake. You're the
No, se-
You're
outro.
welcome.
no
When I
second
said
takes.
take us out, I didn't mean literally.
Thank you for joining us this week for A Star to Steer Her By, for Body Parts and Broken Link, and our Season 4 wrap-up. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, you can subscribe to us where you find all fine podcasts. SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, which I think is going away. Apple Podcasts. We're also on Facebook. You can search a star to steer her by. We are SSHB Podcast on Twitter and Tumblr. You can visit our website at sshbpodcast.com, which will probably just link to Tumblr, but like maybe someday there'll be a website. Who knows?
Hey, and the tops and bottoms from here are going to be up there, so you'll see
Yeah,
what screen
you can-
grab I got.
And
You
other
could read
seasons,
the
you can check
text
out
version of this episode.
past
Yes.
seasons and past series tops and bottoms. You can see our old fanfics that James so lovingly plugged here today. And
They were so good.
You can act them out with your friends.
Yeah.
and if you do, you should definitely record it and send it to us. Oh my god.
I'd love that.
I
And send
really
us
would
royalties
love that.
because,
Huh?
nothing.
I just didn't hear what you said.
I said you should send us royalties because,
Oh yeah, that too, yeah.
intellectual property.
$5
Although
and
technically,
your
I guess we're
recording,
also
please.
lifting intellectual
Yeah,
property.
I don't think
from
it
Star
works
Trek,
like
so-
that.
Yeah, no, we can't
Yeah,
have. Don't send
nobody
us.
paying any attention to this.
I mean, you can send us money,
Cut it.
but don't
You
send
can
us
cut
money
this.
for our scripts.
Yeah, send us money just for shits.
yeah.
We don't have a PayPal.
Yeah, we
or
should do
anything
a
like that.
PayPal. PayPal.
Just
is
give it to a raven.
OnlyFans.
Patronage.
Patreon.
Patreon, that's the one.
I mean, here's the thing:
Wow.
we consistently deliver every single week. We could set up a Patreon, but I don't
Yeah,
think we
for
have
our
the...
6 fucking listeners, Jesus.
Wow.
Hey,
Rossi
anyway,
will-
next week, all 6 of you can join us while we talk about Apocalypse Rising and the ship.
Yay.
Bad title. The ship.
The 6 of you should also tell 6 of your friends and square our listenership.
We'll just start an MLM. That's what we'll do.
Bold of you
there
to
you
assume
go.
I have 6 friends.
Well,
Most of my friends are on this call, so
yeah.
Yeah, as I say, yeah.
Yay.
Invite 6 of your friends, and 4 of them better not be us.
I mean, Facebook did once suggest I like our Facebook page that I'm an admin on.
Nice.
So,
The algorithm works.
ugh.
Anyway, we hope we'll see you next week. For now, I have been Caitlin.
I have been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
I'm James.
Rule of acquisition number 17. A contract is a contract is a contract. When it's with a Ferengi.